This is my weekly guitar tips spot, and this is the place where I'm going to address some questions and some issues, some small things that people have questions about but don't really warrant a full lesson. For example, this week we're going to talk about whether to use finger picks or just play with bare fingers, what the effects are, what the advantages and disadvantages are. I just played Windy and Warm without finger picks, and you could hear that the thumb sound is quite muted because we damp heavily with our palm. This is a style utilised by Chet Atkins, Doc Watson and many others. It produces a laid back, a nice sound. It's not too harsh. And this can be used in ragtime playing. Of course, we can either mute the basses or we can let them ring. If we play a piece, for example in E, and it sounds like this, you can hear the basses are muted. This is an old style, and at the same time it's a modern style as well. A great guitarist like Mark Knopfler uses this style. And he created some classics using this finger picking style. It's also useful if we want to stumble the basses. What I mean by stumble the basses, instead of just hitting one bass note with our thumb, for example, if we move on to A7, we normally just hit the A bass. But if we stumble the basses, we hit the A and the next string in quick succession. In that way, it produces a nice syncopated effect, and I find this more easy to do without a thumb pick. So you can use this bass effect, this stumble effect, to make a little bit more out of a very basic chord. Now, of course, sometimes I use finger picks. I suppose it's quite unusual in my case because I play on the street as well. Sometimes when I play on the street, sometimes with an amplifier, sometimes without, I use finger picks. A plastic thumb pick, quite a heavy one, and a steel finger pick. This steel finger pick is bent over to follow the contour of my finger, so I've got the same angle of attack. But of course the angle of attack for the thumb is completely different. What are the other differences and why do I use these? Well, first of all on the street, it makes a sharp sound, so it cuts through any background noise. This is my finger playing a string, and this is the steel finger pick. You can hear it sharper, it penetrates more. Also, if I play Reverend Gary Davis music and there's a single string run, then these finger picks get between the strings easier when you're alternating your finger and your thumb. For example, you can hear that the basses are still muted, but you can release them, make a bit of noise, and then mute again. advantage for me. You can also make a bit more noise and be a little bit more wild and put yourself out there. The other thing is, with this steel finger pick, I don't have to really hit one string or the other. I can pull it across 2 or 3 strings at the same time. And this, in combination with the thumb pick, produces a nice percussive effect. For example, when I'm using my bare thumb, I just clip the strings, but when I have a thumb pick, I feel sometimes able to throw the thumb at the strings and then damp immediately. This is how I use finger picks when I play How Long by Leroy Carr. By the way, I stumble the bass with a finger pick with a thumb pick as well when I move into this song. When I use the long A chord here, I use a Lightning Hopkins trick by using my little finger to hold down both the last 2 strings. I hold down the last 2 strings and then I use my steel pick to strike them both at the same time. And then after this, before moving to the A7, I throw my thumb and then damp. Of course, you have to do this with care, but when you're playing in public, it looks quite good as well. It looks emotional and it produces a nice sound. You have to be a little bit careful because the steel finger pick is a little bit harsh, so if you hit the trebles too hard, then you can make them buzz and bounce in a terrible way. That's a little insight into the differences between using the bare fingers and using finger picks. I hope you found it interesting, and maybe it'll help you to incorporate some of these techniques into your playing. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.